Hi everyone, welcome to today's Paint With Me video. In this video, I'm going to be creating a gouache painting, and I will insert a photo here of what I'm going to be painting, but it is a Christmas tree, well, I guess a fir-like tree outside with Christmas lights on it, and it is a nighttime scene, so that is what I'm going to be painting today. I'm going to start by showing you guys what colors I am using and what paint. So this is my Holbein acrylic gouache. This is the 36 color set. These are all of the colors that come in this set. So there is a one larger set that you can get. I believe it has 60 something colors in that one, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong, but this is the one that I have, and honestly I find that this is perfect. I do have one or two different shades that I have bought on my own that aren't in this set, but yeah, I think that this is a good set definitely to have. It has lots of different colors and lots of different tones. I also have this little like color chart that I made myself with all of the colors in this. I made this like when I first got it, so that'll be a good kind of little reference to have here to choose the colors to see like what they actually look like when they're on the paper. So I'm going to definitely have some of this blue violet, as you can see here. That's definitely a very prominent color in here in this reference photo. I'm just going to place the colors that I'm going to use here for now. I'm also going to get some just violet here. I'm also going to grab some Prussian blue in case I want a blue that doesn't have any like red or warm tones. I'll have that as well that I'll add to my palette. We're also going to obviously have black and white as well, but I actually, when it comes to using those colors, I have bigger tubes that I use. I don't really use these ones, like they're almost empty already because they're so small. So I have bigger tubes of my neutral colors that I'll add after. Okay, as well, I'm definitely gonna have some of this magenta color, mostly in the front of the tree where it has the light reflecting on the snow. There's definitely some of that in there. I might just add rose as well, just in case I want to use that color too. And for the tree itself, it is a very dark color, almost looks black, but I will take some of this viridian green as well to add to that, to my trees, to the tree color. And now I think that that's pretty good for like the snow and the darker colors. Now I'm looking at like the trees and the colors that are in the lights. So there's some some red in there. I think it's more of like I'm gonna use a bit of scarlet, I think, for that, for the red. And there's also green in the lights, so I'm definitely gonna get some of this light green as well. I'll take a bit of this light yellow and the deep yellow as well and put that in there. And I think that that's all of the colors that I'm going to take from this. And now I'm going to put all of these shades on my palette. I have added all of my colors to my palette. I just have to be kind of careful because they're sliding around a bit. So all of my colors are on there. I also did go ahead and add white and black as well, as I mentioned that I would. I do think that I forgot to mention what type of paper I'm using. This is my Arches watercolor paper. I'll have the exact name of this specific paper because I know they have quite a few in the comments, but yes, it is my Arches paper. And now we're going to begin the painting. We are going to begin this painting with the sky, and I'm going to be using my Winsor & Newton Cotman Mop 16mm brush to start. I've gone ahead and I have mixed some titanium white with a shade that's called Jaune Brilliant. That color is not in the set that I showed you before. It's an extra color that I mentioned that I bought. So I started by laying down a mixture of that mixed with titanium white. And now I'm going ahead and I'm using the same brush, but I have mixed some of my blue violet as well as my violet and that color that I just used on the canvas. And I'm going to start moving up and going up in the sky. And you can see as I am moving up in the sky, I want to create a darker color, so I will be deepening the color as we move up. And I'm just really kind of loosely applying this color with like a tapping and swiping motion. And I'm starting off in the left corner, and as we now go to the top right of the painting, that is where the darkest color of the sky is. And I'm going to be applying a mixture of Prussian blue, blue violet, and violet, and applying that to the top of the canvas or the paper. And as we move down, I'm going to be blending the lighter sky color that I was using in the left with that darker sky color in the top. And again, just very loosely applying this color with my brush. I'm going in with my Aqua Elite brush by Princeton. This is the 1-inch mop brush, and I'm just using that to further blend my colors together and soften them up. I'm using that same brush, but I have diluted the color that I had on my brush with water, also adding a bit of, again, of the lighter sky color that I was using, just to further create depth in the sky. I want, as you can see from the reference photo, you know, the left corner is considerably lighter than the top, so I definitely want to get that different like dimension and depth in the sky. I'm using, again, my Winsor & Newton Cotman brush, and I've grabbed a lighter shade that I have mixed, the white Jaune Brilliant, as well as some of my magenta and rose color, and I'm applying that to the sky to help lighten up that sky, as well to add some clouds in there. And then going back in with my large mop brush, again, to just bring some of the color down, as I'm soon going to be adding my tree line, and I want to make sure that there is color behind that area before I start adding the trees, so that I don't have to go back in and add that color after. But I am adding a very light mixture of the sky color that I just added some white in, and I am bringing that down and up into the canvas. Going in with some of the Prussian blue mixture with my sky color to create more of a blue tone, and adding that to my canvas. Looking at the reference photo, it almost looks like there's kind of like a city lights or some sort of like lights in the distance in the bottom left corner of the sky. So I'm going in with my Cotman brush to kind of start adding those little diluted lighter colors in the distance, using that same color with a little more Jaune Brilliant mixed in there. And again, that's a color that isn't in the set of the Holbein colors. I will include that color below in the comments if you're interested in getting that shade from Holbein. And then I'm using my mop brush and just going in and blending the colors in. I don't want it to look too, harsh or stark. It's, very blended together, the sky. So I'm going to continuously go in with my mop brush to just blend the colors in together. I'm going to be adding my trees here in a minute, so I'm grabbing some very diluted white mixed with my sky color to start just kind of adding the snow in the ground area of this painting. we're going to start adding our trees here. For that, I am using my Princeton Aqua Elite brush. This is the flat brush, and it is my 1-inch flat brush. Sorry, it's half an inch actually. And I'm starting to add the trees with very diluted with water, black mixed with that Viridian green, as well as a little bit of blue violet just to keep that tone consistent. But I have very much diluted this color, and I am just going in and kind of tracing out the tree line to start. And I've diluted the color a bit here, a little more, and I'm gonna just start sketching in my trees with like kind of a tapping and swiping motion, and some stippling as well as I'm applying that color. I started my tree line in the far, kind of in the farthest part. What am I trying to say? I started my tree line in the farthest distance of like where the trees start, but I'm gonna go now into the right corner where the closest trees are, and I'm gonna start sketching out this tree. It has some more branches on it. So I'm just slowly starting to sketch out my trees here, and I'm just looking at my reference photo to see where I'm placing my colors. This painting is not going to be very detailed or super like in depth or anything like that. Like, this is a very more like quick and easy gouache painting, and that's what I like gouache for. It's something where I find like if you want to do a painting in an hour, which is like literally how long this video is, you can do that, and the paint dries really fast and it's easy to get something done quickly, you know, if you're looking for something that's faster. So that's why I really like gouache. As we get closer to the bottom of the tree line, I'm going to start applying more of my darker color where all of the trunks and all of that meets the ground. And again, just like swiping my brush, I'm lightly tapping where I want the top of the tree branches to be as well. And I'm going in again with my mop brush. I'm going to continuously do this throughout this painting to just diffuse and blend the colors together, because in winter and with this photo, like, it's very, you know, when it's snowy and whatnot, it's not super clear as to what, you know, you're seeing in the distance. It's not very defined. So I want to make sure that I'm keeping that blended color throughout the painting. I'm now moving over again to the left side of my painting, and I mixed in more of my blue violet and Prussian blue in with my tree color. I wanted a little bit more of that blue tone, so I went ahead and added more of that. But I'm just continuing to add my branches and my trees. And you can kind of see how by using my mop brush, it lightened the tree, so now it looks more defined, like there's more definition in the sense of in the tree line, it looks like there's trees in the background, and then there's more trees coming forward. So again, grabbing my mop brush and some of the lighter sky color that I was using before, just to continue to blend out this sky and create as much definition. And, you know, I wanted to make it look like it's a snowy scene, because it is a snowy scene. I'm going ahead now, and I'm actually going to start painting my snow. So using my Cotman brush, I have gone ahead and I have mixed combination of my blue violet, my Prussian blue, my violet with my white, and I'm just looking at my reference photo to see where I want my shadows, my midtones, and my highlights to be, and that's how I am deciding where to place these colors. As you can see here, I went in with some darker blue, so I put more of my Prussian blue in with this mixture here that I'm using. And I'm just applying this by swiping, basically a swiping motion, putting my color down and then swiping. As you can see, I'm trying to keep the same direction with my brush going from left to right so that we keep that movement in the snow as well. And we're just going to slowly start bringing this color down as we go further down the canvas. Now with this area here, there's quite a clear difference between this snow and the snow behind us. It's more purple. There's more pinks and purples in there. So I've gone ahead and added more violet and my magenta color to create more of an indigo violet snow color. And I'm going to start applying that here with my same Cotman mop brush. And I have diluted this color here a bit, as it's just the first layer and I don't want it to be too like stark. I'm going to definitely dilute the first layer. That's always something that I do with my gouache paintings, is normally the first layer of paint that I do, it's normally more diluted. And then as I, continue layering my colors, I will dilute the color less and less. I'm focusing now on specifically where the reflection of the lights on the snow is. So I've gone in with my violet, and now this is my rose mixed with the Jaune Brilliant and some white. That's what this pink color is. So I'm tracing out where the brighter reflections in the snow are going to be before I lay down my darker colors of the snow. Now I'm going back in with more of my blue toned snow in between the sections where, the light is. So I'm going back in with that color as well, mixed with a little bit of purple and white. And again, I'm just looking at my reference photo, guys, to know where to put these colors. Like, that's why having a reference photo is so important, because you just look at the photo and you can just copy the colors. It's what makes it easy to create a painting. Like, you don't have to think too hard. You have your reference photo, you just look at it and you can just go from there. And we're just continuing to add our snow color. We're going back in with more of our blue toned snow color, and then more with our purple and pink toned snow. Now we're going to start really going in and deepening the shadow colors now that we've applied the first layer, especially in this front part. That's where the darkest colors of the snow are. Now we're moving on to the fun part, which is the tree. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to begin by placing my colors of the lights where they are based on the reference photo. So I'm going in with my light yellow, deep yellow mixed with white, and I am using my Aqua Elite Princeton brush. This is the round one, and I am placing those colors down. Now I'm going in with my scarlet color that is mixed in with that yellow color, and I am applying those colors down. Now, this is something that might look a little weird at first, but it's like when it all comes together, it's going to look very good. And I do this, the reason that I do this is because I do not want my bright highlighted colors to be diluted or diffused by a shadow color. Like, for instance, I could have applied the dark color of the tree first and done the whole outline of the tree and then put these colors, but that is going to take away from the overall brightness of those colors. If you lay a dark color down first and then you put a bright color over it, it's not going to be as bright. So I hope that makes sense in the way that I was explaining it, but I'm looking at my reference photo and I'm just grabbing the colors that I see and I'm placing them where they are. in relevance to where the tree is going to be. And now I am grabbing my fan brush from Princeton and I'm going to start tracing out my tree. I have mixed my black, my Viridian green, as well as my blue violet to make this tree color. And I am again looking at my reference photo to see where I'm going to put my branches. And using a tapping motion to apply this color with my brush. And obviously, as we go from the top of the tree down to the bottom, the branches are going to be getting thicker with more leaves, and I guess not leaves, because this is a fir tree, but the branches will get thicker and bigger as we go down. And a fan brush is honestly the perfect brush to use when you're trying to create any kind of like fir or pine Christmas tree, whatever kind of trees that look like that. These brushes, like a fan brush, is like your best friend. So definitely make sure you have a fan brush, because look at how effortlessly, like I just have to basically tap my brush and it's like, it looks like a tree. Like it's perfect. So definitely you need a fan brush if you don't have a fan brush in your collection. But yeah, I'm just continuing to move down my tree, and as you can see, I feel like the lights now, as we're putting the dark color, it all is coming together. It's looking like it makes more sense now. So we're just going to continue moving our way down, tapping, tapping, tapping that color on. Now that I have laid down like the first part of my tree, I'm looking back at my reference photo and seeing where now I need to add the kind of snow that is on top of the tree itself. So I've gone ahead and mixed a combination of white, blue, violet, rose, and Prussian blue to create this like lighter purple snow color. And I'm going to use the same motion that I was using pretty much before to apply the shadow colors, but going to apply my colors now on top of the shadows. And using my same fan brush that I was using before. Now I'm going in with my round brush number 6, my Aqua Elite brush from Princeton, and I have gone ahead and mixed some of my scarlet red in with that snow color that I was just applying. And I'm going to use that color to apply to the areas where the lights are, that color is then reflecting on the snow. So the red lights, there will be kind of, you know, that reflection then on the snow of that color. So that's what I am doing now. And I'm just going to go back and forth with these different colors to create my tree. Now I have gone in with more of a blue toned snow. So I've mixed more of my Prussian blue in with that to create a little more blue toned, and I'm going to apply that as well now to that front section that you just saw in the middle and any other areas that I feel like needs to be added. And I'm going back and forth with my shadows, midtones, highlights at this point, based on looking at my reference photo where I feel like I need to add these colors. I'm going to go in and fill in this area here where I haven't applied any color with my kind of lighter snow color, which is white mixed with blue violet, as well as Prussian blue. And this brush that I'm using here is also a round brush from Princeton, the Aqua Elite series. It is the round brush number 12. And then I'm going back in with my round brush number 6 and interchanging between those two to create some smaller details as well as some larger strokes when I'm wanting to do that. And I'm going back in now with my shadow color and continuing to deepen and create depth within my tree. I've gone in now and I've mixed a darker red color, and I'm going to apply that throughout the tree a little more. I feel like the red is definitely the most predominant kind of light color that we're seeing on the tree, so I definitely want to apply a little bit more of that. And I'm really liking how this tree is looking. I mean, as we keep adding colors, I feel like it just keeps getting better and better. So I'm definitely liking how this is looking so far. I'm applying a little bit more of my snow color to the top of my tree here. I feel like it needs a little bit more of that color. And honestly, a lot of the times with gouache painting, it's a lot of like mixing as I go. The kind of difference between my gouache and my acrylic paintings is that when I do acrylic paintings, I pre-mix all of my colors. But with gouache, I don't do that. I literally just put the colors that I want on my palette and then I mix them as I go. Because gouache, for anyone that, has used gouache, that it dries very, very fast. Like, there would be no point in pre-mixing gouache colors because they would dry by the time like you go to do your painting. So I just mix them as I go. That's why there wasn't like a color mixing process, anything like that. Like, I mix them on my palette and then I apply them. So that's what I'm doing right now as we're doing this painting. But I'm trying to let you guys know what colors I am using as we go, so you can also paint along with me. But I'm going back in now and applying any kind of light color, a Christmas light color, to any sections that I feel like I've missed. And again, taking that kind of darker red color that I was mentioning before that's very prominent and moving that up in the tree as we go up. I'm going to start applying like the little lights, like the actual light bulbs. I'm doing that. A couple of those where you can kind of see them more in the painting. And to do that, I am applying a very light color, so almost white, but mixed with some of my red color. And I put a dot of that, and then around that color, I'm going to start creating more depth by deepening the color as we move away from the light bulb. So I'm going to do that in a few sections. Again, here I'm applying my little white dot, and I'll do that again down here and in my other sections as well that I feel like I need to do that. And then I will deepen it by mixing my shadows and my highlights around it to really make it look like it's glowing. That's the whole goal, is to make these lights look like it's glowing. I've gone ahead and I have mixed a lighter tree color. I want more of like a lighter blue prominent in some points, so I have mixed in some more Prussian blue and white in with my initial shadow tree color. And I'm going to apply that to some sections. Now I am moving on back to my snow, specifically in the front section. When I look at my reference photo, I can see that it is very purple. Like the snow is pretty much purple. So I am going in and I'm applying a snow color that has more of my violet mixed in with it. And I am applying that with kind of a swiping motion back and forth in my snow area. And you can see like I'm looking at my reference photo while I'm doing this. And I am applying where I see the shadow colors, that's where I'm putting this color. And I'm still using my Winsor & Newton mop brush to apply this. As you can see, I'm very much doing like a back and forth swiping motion. I'm doing that because when I look at this photo, I can see like this is how the snow is moving. This is like the direction of the snow. So I definitely try to keep the movement consistent, like where I am applying my colors. Now we're going back in and we're applying more of that rose color and that magenta color where that is being shone in the snow from the reflection of the Christmas lights, looking at my reference photo. And we're really just continuing to like deepen this area, like applying shadows, highlights back and forth. That is what I'm doing to create the depth in this painting. I really like these like snowy Christmas night scenes because it's like so dark, in some parts, but then it's like so bright and vibrant, and I love that contrast. That's why I picked this photo and this painting to do. I just love the contrast between the dark colors of the night and then like the bright colors of the Christmas lights. I'm going closer to where the Christmas tree is with my shadow color to really create that dimension in the snow. Like if you add that shadow color right next to the pink, it really pops and like you can really see the dimension and the contrast. That's what as I mentioned, that's really what I'm trying to create with this painting. We're going back in now and working a bit on the farther section of where the snow is near the tree line. I just wanted to brighten that up a bit. I felt that it was a little dark in certain parts and that it needed to be more blue toned as well. So I have added a lighter mixture of that color with white mixed with my Prussian blue and my blue violet. and applying the highlights with my Princeton Aqua Elite. This is a flat brush. And as you can see, adding those little highlights there really just added so much depth. Like it's almost like you can see like the, you know, the snow bumps, like the hills in the snow. So
I didn't know much about it. I wanted to get you guys people following him, so I was just trying to find a community of people, and I unfollowed him. I'm like, oh, I guess he doesn't like me, so. And that is so, yeah. Honestly, the tweet was ill representative of who Matt Walsh is, and his wife is amazing. I think what he was trying to say didn't come across the right way, because I immediately texted him, and I was just like, wait, Matt, I think that like you have this wrong. I think what he was trying to say. I hope I don't sound like I'm like an apologist, Matt Walsh. Obviously, like I might be being a little Catholic in game here, but I think what he was trying to say was something about the RNC and like what they're prioritizing. But I actually even
and continuing to move that snow a little bit closer to the tree line
should be trying to do ahead of an election
as well.
is basically saying, these are the things that we are offering, the better economy, this, that, but these are the lies that are told by the RNC. Like if people believe that Donald Trump.
Now we're going back and we're going to do the final details on our Christmas tree. Going back in with my round brush number 6 and using my reddish kind of snow color that I was using before and applying that to my tree. And really at this point, guys, I am just looking at my reference photo and I'm like, where do I need to add these colors? And that is what I'm doing. As simple as that. And I'm just mixing the colors, as I mentioned, as I go, and I am applying that to my tree.
The biggest takeaway is that Planned Parenthood is generating vast profits, including millions in taxpayer funding. But with preborn, that's you and me, immediately. And I think that's why an entire generation of people does not always understand that. And I think that that's not a good thing. And that's why I love when I heard you just say what you believe, because I'm like, if that, because I believe.
Applying any kind of last glow onto the tree branches where I feel like it needs that glow from the Christmas lights. And going in and just applying quite a lighter snow color, a highlight color to some of the areas that I feel needs that, specifically more towards the top of the tree.
Maybe the money that they did make through sex work, or the umbrella of sex work, or stripping, not actually sex, and create businesses for themselves.
And again, I'm going back in with my shadow color and adding a few more shadows, a few more little tree branches here and there.
But I grew up poor, and my mom had mental health, so that was my lifelong dream. And then when I became famous, everyone just pointed the finger at me and was like, you used to be a stripper, we remember you, and then that made like the whole internet and stuff, and then I had to just live with that, and over time, Kanye West. Yeah. And it was 15 years ago, and it became this big thing. Kanye West is dating a stripper, like basically overnight. He didn't know that I was a stripper at all when he met me. He didn't know this.
As you can see, I'm really just taking my time with this part. I am detailing. I am not trying to do too much, really. Just detailing, adding my final colors to my tree.
A great time in pop culture, and we really did have a lot of fun for a long time. But yes, he did not meet me in the strip club. So when me and him started to get to know each other, I was like, hey, I just want to be. He didn't meet me there. He met me because I booked his music video. Got it. Okay. Right. So this is literally a case of just, I guess, misconceptions in the media. Yeah, just people pulling stories out of their ass and throwing it on the internet, and then everyone believes it. I think people can be really, I guess, unforgiving of circumstances they can never imagine themselves to be in. So you kind of careless when they find out, like, in someone's history, like, this person
I'm adding a little bit more color to this middle section here of my tree, and then going back in again with my shadow color to create that depth. I love looking at it when like you apply your highlight, and then when you put your shadow color, it just brings it to life. Like, I don't know if you guys like notice that the way I do, but like it's so crazy how you really need the highlight and the shadow. Like you need that together or else it's not going to look right. So I loved how at the beginning of the tree section of this painting, I was just putting down yellow and red. And at first it was like, what are we looking at here? But now it all has come together and it looks so wonderful. And I am going in now with my very bright highlight color. This is pretty much white and just my light yellow and a little bit of my light green. And I'm applying that to any areas where I feel it is extremely bright in the reference photo. And the brush that I am using for that is a Royal and Langnickel Zen brush. It's the Zen collection and it's a number 6 brush, but that was a flat brush that I'm using. About a 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch flat brush. And I'm bringing a little bit more of that red purple snow color up towards the top of the painting as well. And I'm just finishing up my final details of the tree. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a little bit more light in the snow reflection. I'm looking at my reference photo and I am adding any more of the highlight, the pink color, the pink snowy color that I feel like any areas that I've missed, I'm going back in and I'm applying that. And I'm using my Aqua Elite Princeton brush. This is the 3/4 inch stroke brush. And I'm being very light, like I'm barely touching my paper, like barely. Very, very light brush strokes at this point. Because we're just detailing now. You know, when you're first applying the color on the canvas, very loose color, like very loose brush strokes, lots of color. Now you're detailing, very fine. And as you can see now, I'm literally I'm trying to just create light reflecting. So I'm just grabbing my brush, sweeping it across, creating that little kind of glow of light in the snow. And just finishing off any details, like we're just detailing at this point.
And I wanted to, because we talked about Cardi B, and she sometimes has this, I'll get when I hear it, but there's this shaking,
Applying the last brush strokes of color, light reflection in my snow. And I mean, at this point, like, you could leave the painting at this point. Like, you don't need to continue. Sometimes I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, and I just really like to detail sometimes. Like, I just really enjoy the detailing part. So, you know, you could leave the painting at this point. Right now, it's personal preference, you know, what you want to add or what you don't want to add.
And now to corrupt your spirit. You're not there. They don't want your spirit to flourish, and they want you to only see yourself one way. And so when I saw that video for Pride,
Going in and just defining my little light bulbs, my Christmas light bulbs, a little more.
She's in a different stage of her life. She was talented not because she was a stripper. She was a star not because she was a stripper. When I was watching for Love and Hip Hop, I didn't know. They've never told me. They never told me that there was another way out. You know what the other way out is?
Adding any to any areas that I feel like I missed as well.
It's the easiest thing you can do. Is really just be yourself. Because right now in Hollywood, we're all being someone. And it's crazy because when people actually get to know me as a person, they're like, wow, you are really nerdy. You're nothing, you're not hypersexual at all. And I'm very like traditional, you know? And that's just how it is. But yeah, you're just gonna be yourself. It's just the best way to go, whatever that is. I want to talk to you about your OnlyFans account because you make sexy pictures and stuff. But funny enough, I get on Twitter. I'm not on Twitter as much as I am on Instagram, which is why I have more followers on Instagram.
I'm going to add a little bit more to my green light sections on the tree. I feel like I just didn't add enough, so I'm going to add a little bit more glow reflection on my tree branches. So I'm lightly swiping my color of green and then going in and tapping, adding a little bit more shadow as well to create that depth. And then again, going back in with the green and adding that to create that glow.
That makes sense. Because I was realizing, I was like, you actually signed up to see if she's posting content or if she just hasn't.
There's no way. No, I have not did content on OnlyFans in such a long time. So I was just as shocked as everyone else on Twitter when it was like available now on OnlyFans, and I'm like, and they put a sale up. I mean, it's embarrassing.
You do really hear a lot of this in the industry. The more that I speak to people, and it's funny because I keep coming back to Kanye, but you know, he said so much to me that I couldn't even comprehend a couple of years ago about what's going on in Hollywood, and I think that he senses the demonism, and I think he really wanted out. Like, if you want a book, you gotta, this is what you have to do, here's what you have to do. It does make you relationship.
It doesn't mean that I didn't love you while we were together. So, I wouldn't anymore. You want to write a book? You know? And I was like, bro, I'll never go out like that. Hell no. No matter what, I won't do that. But that's how it is. That's how it is in Hollywood for sure.
They're constantly, especially amongst women, it's all about sex, and I'm a person that
which is crazy because I think that people just thought I was just dumb or just like a dumb stripper, and they didn't know that I was going to be a girl to live with. So I hope that they, I don't know, maybe see our interview together and they just say, you know what?
And I am applying my final details to my tree. I have also switched to a smaller brush, a smaller Princeton Aqua Elite brush. This is called the long round brush, the number 6. So it has a very pointy tip, which is nice for like final detailing.
And I'll leave the 1% for girls that want to argue with me online about how much they love porn or whatever.
And then just going back in with my stroke brush, my 3/4 inch stroke brush, and I am going to just apply in the distance here. As I mentioned in the very beginning of this video, it kind of looks like there's a distance, like lights in the distance, almost like there's a city. So I'm tapping a little bit more of that Jaune Brilliant and white to create that light in the distance, in the very far distance. And just finishing up this painting. But at this point, guys, we're pretty much done this painting process, other than a few final details. And I hope that you enjoyed this video. I very much enjoyed creating it. I really loved actually how it turned out. I wasn't too sure. You never really know, how your painting's gonna go, and this was definitely like a faster process. So I really like how it turned out. I hope that this video was insightful for you and that you were also able to create a version of this painting yourself. And I will have the products that I used below and the brushes that I used, as well as links to the websites of the products in case you want to get your own.
Biological men with mustaches and beards, with shaving in the women's locker room.
But I'm just going to apply my final brush strokes to my painting. I want to thank you for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.
But I think with someone like Danielle, for an example, that's very far in her transition. And she has a full section, by the way. I think she understands that she is a biological male. But for me, I